Hello, everybody. I'm Larry Ridley. Welcome to the NFL on EA Sports. Well, one area of this man's season that he'd like to get straightened out is the number of interceptions he's thrown. It's a glaring number when you look at his stats. Can he play mistake-free football here in this one? It's the Browns going up against the Bears. So let's send you up to Chicago, where we'll say hello to Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
Thank you very much, Larry. While the skies may be ominous, there's never a bad day for football. Today, we've got a Week 8 matchup on tap here between the Cleveland Browns and the Chicago Bears. With Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, Charles, you look at this Bears team entering play. Now, losers their last time out, so they'll look to make amends here.
And one of the best ways you can do that is to be at home, and they are. They're going to try and ride that home crowd and that wave of emotion.
Now a play fake here on first down. It'll buy some time right. And he's brought down, getting this one up to about the 35. A nice pick up there, 10 yards, and it'll move the sticks. They go play action here on first down. Rolling to his left. And some room to roam now. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. Give him 16 on the pickup, and it's good enough for a Cleveland first down.
Partner, as a quarterback, sometimes you just got to know when the clock has gone off in your head, it's time to go. Tuck it and get all you can.
Back to throw now on first down. Rolling, looking for Barnage, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Will Hill. And his guys will take over at their own 44-yard line.
Well, I get what he was trying to do.
And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And following the interception, we'll see what they can put together on this drive.
I can hear my old college coach right now. He always used to tell us before every game, the team making the fewest mistakes.
Oh, you saw that one coming. It's intercepted. Thrown back across his body. A great read, and it's picked up. And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. And last time wasn't pretty. One play and an interception. We'll see if they can do better.
I want to see if they want to go ahead and throw the ball again now on this drive after what happened on the last one. Throw it on the first play. Give the quarterback some confidence.
See what happens. 18 yards on the pickup there. And it'll give the Browns a first down. Looking to throw. Being chased out left. Now he'll let it go on the run. He's got it at the 15. And he gets this one all the way down inside the 15. And the young buck showing that ability, that agility to dance outside of the pocket, complete the deep ball.
And don't think for a second that the coaching staff didn't have their heart rate accelerate a little bit there, right? Anytime you have those young quarterbacks and they get outside of the pocket, you're just hoping that they make good decisions because so many things can happen that can go wrong when you throw it downfield like that. He got away with it there and in a big way. After all the preparation, all the practice, a play like that will absolutely break your heart. They had everything they wanted, just unable to complete it. In the end zone, a big-time drop.
And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. This will be caught just inside the 10. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a third down.
Obviously, this has not been a banner game throwing the football. So what you got to do, you got to kind of down focus, don't you think? Find the tight end, take some easier completions.
The interception last drive. There he hits the reliable target.
The Bears have put an extra defender in the secondary on third down.
Yep, they're in the nickel. They'll look to throw here. And this is going to be incomplete.
The Jets are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Bengals are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. All right, team is now off the clock. Adam Schefter, can you tell us about their newest player?
Matt Miller told me to look at a certain stat in regards to this defensive back, and that's average number of targets in a game. Not surprisingly, you see that number start to fall each week. He was a master of the bait and switch early in the year, on track to break records midway through the season. Eventually, quarterbacks gave up altogether trying to throw the ball in his direction, essentially taking away a receiver on every play. There's going to be an adjustment period now that he's in the NFL, but he certainly has the potential to be a shutdown defender for this team in the future.
Cardinals are off the clock now. Adam, what can you tell us about this guy?
He spent the entire offseason working on his footwork and mechanics, and when scouts finally had a chance to see him up close at his pro day, they came away hopeful but not thrilled. As Matt Miller put it, he looked okay during drills, but the most important thing he showed was improvement in just a few months. He's not exactly ready to lead an offense, but I'm guessing the team is committed in developing him further.
Let's go to Adam Schefter now, who's got more to say about the Browns' latest pick.
He's a Heisman-winning defender. Let me say that one more time. He won the Heisman, and he's a defensive player. Need I say more? You can imagine how well he played this season to win the biggest award in college over several offensive playmakers. The trophy was well-deserved, and according to Matt Miller, he projects really well as a defender in the NFL. I think this is a home run pick, and it's great to see a defender get some well-deserved recognition.
The Redskins are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. Adam, what can you tell us about that last pick?
He was the recipient of a Hail Mary pass that went down as one of the biggest moments in college football this season. What Matt Miller told me was it sounds like he should get all the credit for it. As he described it, he did exactly what a coach wants his receiver to do in that kind of situation. He kept his eye on the ball as he ran downfield, boxed out the defenders in his area, and finished with an athletic, leaping grab. We knew he was one of the better receivers in college, and that play basically showed us why. This team just added a potential offensive weapon to its arsenal, and I look forward to seeing what he can do on Sundays.
The Chargers are now on the clock. Let's go to Adam now, who's got more on the Chargers' last pick.
The old saying of "what have you done for me lately" could be used to explain his rapid rise in draft value. After a late season performance that saw him make several key blocks leading to scores, sources said that many scouts were willing to overlook otherwise average statistics leading up to his final game. NFL expert Ross Tucker felt that his upside far outweighs any concerns that he's a one-hit wonder. Tucker raved about his natural footwork that he called a quote-unquote gift for someone his size. Patience may be needed to help him grow into his full potential, but this team feels as if it has bolstered its offensive line with this big pick.
Pick's been made. Let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about the player.
A college All-Star Game MVP trophy capped off an illustrious career for him. The performance was especially sweet as many critics had criticized him for not performing well against top-tier defenses while in college. Breaking the 100-yard barrier and scoring twice against the top players in the country had critics changing their tune. He's now going to be expected to get the ball 20 to 30 times a game against some elite NFL defenses. It will be a steep learning curve for him, but sources tell me several GMs feel he's up to the challenge.
Adam, what can you tell us about the Titans' newest player?
A skilled running back with a nose for the end zone, his draft stock got a shot in the arm after setting a team record for single-game rushing touchdowns. He's a unique mixture of speed, power, and agility, reminding some draft experts of Emmitt Smith. Sources I spoke with absolutely love his linebacker mentality, refusing to go out of bounds and taking on defenders in hopes of extra yards wherever and whenever possible. He should see immediate action in the preseason and compete for the starting spot.
The Saints have made their selection. For more about him, let's go to Adam Schefter.
Coming into the season, several scouts had him ranked as the top linebacker prospect entering the draft, and what followed was a flurry of media attention. The constant distractions looked to have taken their toll on him as he struggled to put together consecutive strong performances throughout the entire season. This inconsistency had him all over the experts' draft boards on a week-to-week basis. Even Todd McShay wasn't immune to the ranking roller coaster, having him anywhere from the number 2 to the number 10 linebacker available. This pick will be looked at as a bit of a gamble until he's able to prove he has the mentality it takes to turn in great performances on a week-to-week basis.
The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Now that the Cowboys have made their pick, let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about him.
After a string of injuries his junior year and what looked like more of the same his senior year, he made the decision to leave the team. It was a difficult choice to make, but after consulting with the trainers and coaches, it seemed like the best long-term option. His body needed more time to heal from past injuries, and opting out of his senior year helped him make a complete recovery in preparation for the draft. So even though there wasn't a lot of recent tape on him, he did put on a good show at the Combine, convincing scouts he hadn't lost a step. Some teams were concerned with his competitiveness after foregoing that final year of eligibility, but at least one team was confident enough to pick him up. Now we'll see if this team can keep him healthy and on the field.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a trade.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Our very own Adam Schefter has more to say about this pick.
Every running back that played against him hated the experience, as he netted the most tackles for a loss of any player this year and setting a new school record along the way. As Matt Miller put it, he has a knack for watching the ball, never being fooled by the play action, and getting to the ball carrier in the backfield. He had the ability to single-handedly shut down an opponent's rushing attack in school, but we'll see if that translates to the NFL.
The Bills are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock.
Well, if you're wondering what the delay is, I think we've got a trade coming here.
The Jaguars are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. Now that the Jets have made their pick, let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about him.
This is a player that draft experts really didn't start talking about until the tail end of the season. The biggest topic of discussion was where the sudden change in production came from. I talked to his college position coach, and he told me that a nagging injury slowed him down early in the season. You can clearly see he favored one side over the other when he was put out on the field or even walking on the sidelines. After he was benched for a few weeks, he came back and played at a much higher level. Even so, some teams were still cautious and did a thorough medical examination at the combine to be sure he was completely recovered. The results must have been positive for the team to have just drafted him now. As long as he can stay healthy, I really like what he brings to this team.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
Hold on now. This pick is trading teams.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock.
How come nobody's at the podium? That's because both teams are right now working on a trade.
The Chargers are now on the clock. All right, let's go to Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
I'll tell you, everyone was talking about him after the combine, and not exactly for the best of reasons. He was called out almost unanimously as one of the worst interviews at Indy. I spoke with a few of the scouts who sat down with him, and the common remarks I heard was that he was slow to respond, had very little to say, and definitely had his periods of awkward silence. Fortunately for him, how he plays is looked at more than how he talks. I think the team found a good player, even if he is lacking a little charisma.
The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock.
I see both teams filling out cards. You know what that means? We've got a trade.
The Titans are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Well, wait, looks like both war rooms are feverishly back on the phones. I think that means a trade is coming.
The Lions are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. Now that the Ravens have made their pick, let's go to Adam Schefter to hear more about him.
Many draft experts speculated that the rigors of his college career were catching up with him and that his struggles were a result of playing through several nagging injuries and not an issue of talent drop-off. After some time off, he impressed with his raw numbers at the Combine, giving more than one GM confidence that his series of struggles was nothing to worry about. He'll likely be given the opportunity to challenge for the starting spot, making him someone to keep a close eye on throughout training camp and the preseason.
The Vikings are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock. All right, now that the pick's in, let's go to Adam. Adam, what can you tell us about this guy?
This kid is an explosive defensive talent. Sadly for fans of college football, his career came to an abrupt end after he suffered a grade 3 groin tear while attempting to make a tackle. After surgery, weeks of intensive, platelet-rich plasma therapy, and months of strength training of the affected area, he looked like his old self when he took the field for his pro day. Some scouts in attendance even felt as though he looked stronger and faster than before the injury. I'd expect him to get reps with the first-team defense come training camp, and don't be surprised to see him starting in Week 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a trade.
The Titans are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock.
Well, if you're wondering what the delay is, I think we've got a trade coming here.
The Saints are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock. The Broncos are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock. Let's go to Adam Schefter now. He's got more to say about the Redskins' latest pick.
Showing up to the combine overweight and then turning in a subpar performance caused him to plummet in several mocks leading up to the draft. Most of the scouts I spoke with could not understand how this kid could let himself go as he neared the most important day of his playing career. This led to several others questioning his mental integrity, willpower over food, and passion for the game. I can only imagine his new team will have him on a plane tonight to meet with its nutritionist and strength and conditioning team, likely to get him into a regimented routine within a week. When in shape, he's the kind of player that can make a true impact at the NFL level, but he has to avoid eating himself out of the league, a trap that so many rookies have fallen into in the past.
The Packers are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock. The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Hold on now. This pick is trading teams.
The Rams are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. Let's go to Adam now, who has more on the Bears' last pick.
He's a linebacker who has a bit of speed, but when it comes to quickly changing directions, he can struggle at times. During the drop back drills, it looked as if his first step or two when changing directions took longer than most NFL coaches prefer. He showed enough at the combine for scouts to feel good about his run-stopping ability, but his inability to change direction may make him a weak link on the inside during passing plays. I'm sure the team will be finding ways to rotate him in and out of the game until he becomes less of a liability on long-distance downs.
The Panthers are now on the clock. The Redskins are now on the clock.
How come nobody's at the podium? That's because both teams are right now working on a trade.
The Giants are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock.
I see both teams filling out cards. You know what that means? We've got a trade.
The Bills are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock.